Hey everybody, it's Catherine here. Merry Christmas to those of you who are celebrating Christmas today, and Merry Christed Consciousness to those of you who may not celebrate Christmas but still recognize this season of light as a really significant point in time, and I think particularly this year in the turning that we'll be experiencing moving into 2024. I'm not going to go into all of that right now because I just decided to jump on and share an experience that I had today that was unusual and also sort of really brought the magic into Christmas in a different way. So today is, I think, the first time in my life that I have spent the entire Christmas, Eve and Christmas Day by myself. So with timing and different things, I'll be celebrating with my kids next weekend. And so I had this whole evening and day of Christmas to myself. And I started my day today with a practice that I've been doing for a while now, sitting in front of my altar. It's a 44-day practice. And I'm doing it as part of a group within my Kairos Healers Academy, but I'm also doing some of my own work while I'm in there. So today, as I was sitting in front of the altar, I was particularly drawn to bring my attention and my awareness, because today is Christmas, to a beautiful image that I received, maybe 15 years ago now, of Yeshua in his Essene garb, right? The white dressing that the Essene community would wear. And so I was sitting in front of the altar with this incredible picture of Yeshua in front of me. And as I was sitting there, I was very much drawn into kind of a sort of conversation, kind of a monologue. I was doing most of the talking, but I felt like there was some conversation going on between the two of us. And really today, just wanting to invite that Christ consciousness, right? Just really honor whatever your belief around the Christmas story or tradition, or, how that may have been manipulated or whatever. All of that aside, it's still a time of year that's recognized for the light, right? And whether it's the light of solstice, coming back into the light, or the light around Yule and fire, that's the more pagan or earth tradition, or this light of the world being born. And I like to think this light of Christ consciousness coming alive within each of us. What are you pregnant with, right? What are you wanting to birth as a result of this new higher energy, this higher frequency coming in? And it's palpable, again, whatever your belief system, there is a definite energy around this time of year, Hanukkah, Christmas, solstice, Yule, as we're taking this few moments of pause around solstice and then moving back in the Northern Hemisphere anyway, into the lengthening of the days, right? And bringing more light. And again, this idea of what is being birthed through us. What are we going to seed at this time that will come into flowering, into fruition in the spring and the summer ahead. So I started my day, as I said, at the altar, and was in conversation with Yeshua, inviting more and more of his energy, his consciousness, his understanding of himself as a divine being of light and love, right? Sort of as the blueprint, and recognizing how his walking on the earth, and later, of course, with Mary Magdalene, was really seeding the Christ consciousness on earth over 2,000 years ago, when the world was also in a very dark place, right? And so just honoring that. And of course, as part of honoring that, having to honor, not having to, but wanting to honor Mother Mary, because as a very young woman, an unmarried young woman, she faced some serious consequences, right, for being pregnant at that time. And in her courage and her understanding of who she was, bringing through this divine being, she obviously persevered with this pregnancy. So I was inviting, the energy of Yeshua, the energy of Mother Mary, and also the energy of Mary Magdalene, who was also part of this whole story, right? The whole, this soul contract between these three beautiful people, as well as Joseph of Nazareth. So anyway, I did my time at the altar. I had my conversation with Yeshua, and I came downstairs with the intention of pulling a card to honor Mother Mary from my beautiful Mother Mary Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild. But before I did, for some reason, I went to YouTube, and I don't know why, but what popped up was a video from Richard Rohr. Now, he is a mystic, a Catholic priest, but quite mystical. And I don't follow him, so I can't speak much to him, but I do know that he is a brilliant mystic, and brings the sacred through. And there was a long video, but I only watched the first few minutes. It just caught my attention because he was talking about Yahweh, right? Typically how Jews refer to God, and the vibration and the tone that it brings through, and the fact that because we don't close our mouth when we say Yahweh, it's like breath. It's like Yahweh. It's right, the exhalation and the inhalation, and the exhalation and the inhalation. And so I was listening to his explanation of that, and after I thought, kind of enough time had gone by, I just sat for a few minutes doing that breath, right? And he talked about, this is the first sound you make. This is the breath of life that you breathe the moment you come into life. And it's the last sound that you make, this last breath as you're leaving this life. And that if you never did anything but breathe, it would be enough, because every time you did, you're literally saying the name of God. And I thought that was really a beautiful reflection. So anyway, I did a little quiet meditation, a little breath work with that. And then I pulled out my card deck and I started shuffling. And, I shuffle in a few different ways. And as I was shuffling, three cards, or what seemed to me to be three cards, sort of popped out of the deck and flipped over. And at first my inclination was to put them back in and keep shuffling. And then I had this moment where it was like, no, you do these three cards as a, what do you call it when you lay out more than one card? Little brain fart. Anyway, do the spread, right? So use these three cards as a spread. So I took the cards and I laid them out, and I took the rest of the deck and I put it on the table next to me. And they were beautiful cards. So the first card is Our Lady of Divine Presence. And the message, the messages are quite long in this deck. They could be 3 or 4 pages long. So I'm not going to read them to you, but I will just say that this, as the first card, just really, really spoke to me about, I'll just read you the beginning. You've been preparing to receive me, opening your heart and clearing away past shame or doubt. You've been asking for the divine light to be with you, and I will tell you now, I am alive within you, right? So that was just the beginning, and it went on from there. So clearly, this card felt very divinely inspired. The next card I had really pulled itself out of the deck and sort of flipped over, is Our Lady of Nourishment. And again, a beautiful message about what is it that you're really looking for when you are, quote, hungry. And do you hunger for food, possessions, relationships, opportunities? Do you hunger for tenderness, appreciation, and acknowledgement? And then she goes on to say, it's really the soul, right? The desires of the soul that you are really hungering for. So again, felt very relevant to me. And then the third card, Our Lady of Truth. So I've pulled this card many times. It has deep meaning for me. So I was delighted to have this card come up again, this beautiful Our Lady of Truth. And I'll just read the very beginning. When you choose to be in your truth, expressing and being you, you are with me. In those moments, your voice and every action rings true like a bell, sending out waves of sound that cut through that which no longer serves you. Being in your truth empowers that which can assist and support you on your life path. And then it goes on from there, 2 or 3 or almost 4 pages. So 3 beautiful cards. And after, reading, and each of the cards in this deck at the end of the reading, there's always a little prayer and perhaps a little meditation or guided imagery or just a little something you can do to embody the energy, the alignment, the attunement, the message that's come through the card. So I was sitting with all of that, just in deep gratitude for everything that came through, and it felt so aligned. And I went to grab the deck to put these cards back, and lo and behold, there was another card facing up on the top of the deck that I had not seen when these, what I thought were 3 cards, kind of flipped out on face up. So it was really quite a surprise to see that there was another card there, because the whole rest of the deck was down facing and this card was up facing. Now I have to say, as long as I've had this deck, which is more than 5 years, I can't say how many more than 5, but definitely more than 5, I have never picked this card. And I'll remind you again, in the beginning of my Facebook Live, I was talking about how I was saying a prayer to Yeshua this morning on my altar to bring more of his light and the light of, the divine in general, Christ consciousness, as he modeled and created the blueprint, but also of Mother Mary, honoring her, giving birth to him on this day, and also Mary Magdalene. So I did the card spread with these 3 cards, was ready to put them away, saw this other card turned up, which I had not seen previously. And guess what this card was? Our Lady of the Sacred Son, S-O-N, son, like male child, right? This ring light is driving me a little crazy. Our Lady of the Sacred Son. The moment I read this card, the tears just started, literally, I wouldn't say pouring, but rolling down my face, because it was, I want to say, the answer to the prayer, right? The answer to the prayer at the altar this morning, the answer to the prayer of every day, right? Awaken the Christ consciousness within me. Show me how to walk in the world in the way that those of you who walked in the world, knowing you were divine, right, did that. And then to pull Our Lady of the Sacred Son on Christmas Day, right, the day that Mother Mary, Our Lady, is said to have birthed this beautiful sacred son, was just amazing to me. And I'll just read again a little of what is written in the book that's with this Oracle, Mother Mary Oracle deck. My beloved Son, my Christ, lives in your hearts, for you are the sons and daughters of love. The Christ is a consciousness of love that belongs to every human soul and will awaken in those who are ready to receive it now through my grace. I will ask you to realize that you carry this divine flame of love within. For you, my sons and daughters, it is time for a divine awakening of sacred masculine energy within you now. Just as I birthed the Christ child through love, so too will you birth enlightened, divine masculine energy through the love and power of the divine feminine now. This is your time for sacred birth. And then it goes on again for another couple of pages. And I'll just read the healing process and affirmation at the end, because it's pretty simple. And if it's something that you feel called to do, having now heard my story of the synchronicity of receiving this beautiful card, which I have never pulled before from this deck today. And you start with a prayer that says, I call upon Our Lady of the Sacred Son, upon Mother Mary and the Christ, who love me unconditionally. And I ask for your healing, support, guidance, and protection now. Thank you, and so be it. Imagine you see a beautiful woman in blue robes holding a child. The child is powerful, as is the mother. Together they radiate an unbreakable force of golden light, which repels anything that is not unconditional love. Visualize that you are the child now, being held by the beautiful woman in blue robes. A golden field of energy surrounds you, and you are completely safe. Feel the love and the power of this, and in your own time, when ready, complete your healing with the following prayer of affirmation, said aloud if possible 3 times. The powerful love generated by Mother Mary and the Christ lives in me. It radiates from me in complete divine strength, power, and protection now and always. So be it. So that's my Christmas story. Then I went on my walk and I saw all of those Christmas trees out in the woods. Oh, thank you, Julie. I thought it was beautiful too, which is sort of what inspired me to jump on and do this. I was a little hesitant, and then I just said, you know what, go for it. If anybody's meant to hear it, they'll hear it. And pulling this as the 4th card when I thought I'd only pulled 3. I didn't need any more encouragement than that. So anyway, I hope you all had a beautiful day, few days, as we move through this solstice time into the days of more light, recognizing that you are the light, that the light of the divine shines through you. And each time you recognize that as truth for yourself, remember Our Lady of Truth, remembering your own truth as a sovereign divine being, shining your light in the world. Aw, thank you, Eileen. Hey, I love your scarf, by the way. Okay, my loves, have a beautiful rest of your day today and a lovely, graceful entry into the week ahead. Many blessings. Bye now.